All right. So for our quarterly reporting, it all starts off with putting together our P&L, which, as you can see here, we have for the whole year, year to date. We do it month by month, and our bookkeeper kind of puts it into Excel for me to review. So that way I don't have to be clicking around in different softwares to get everything. So we go through this and review it and make sure we get all the numbers together month over month, going all the way through for a year to date. Obviously, we split up home rent, lot rent, and we do it, if you look at the bottom, we do it for each one of our communities. We do the rent manager, the QuickBooks P&L, and if you refer back to one of my previous articles, you'll know why we kind of split up the rent manager and the QuickBooks P&Ls. And then, of course, we do the balance sheet as well. And we do each one of those for each month, for the quarter, and we do it for all of our communities as well as our other companies, and we get that all together typically by the 10th of the month, if not sooner, so that way we can review it for any changes and we kind of move on. And what we got here is something that I want to put together, which gets more granular. See, this is our cash flow analysis. So what we've done is each community breaks down its own cash flow. We started out on a month-to-month basis, but then we kind of decided, as you see here, we needed to see it weekly, especially with this community, which has a lot of park-owned homes. We needed to be able to know when our income was coming in versus when our expenses were going out, so we could plan for our projects. So if you see here, kind of in the beginning, you'll see we collect the majority of our rent in week 1. Then in week 2, we have a couple people who pay kind of late. See it right there getting highlighted. But we're able to see that now better, being able to see when our income's coming in versus just at the end of the month looking at collections. I want to see week over week when our cash is coming in, and then also being able to see when it's going out. And if you can see here for October, this is essentially us right there. For October, we're seeing live as we're inputting it, as we're incurring it. And then I'm able to see that every Friday or by the Monday to be able to plan out for the next week. And again, we do it for the expenses as well. And October will fill out every week as we go. October fills out, but we're able to see the expenses and the income and being able to plan properly. And we do that for every week or every month. And then here what we do is we also, inside this document, dump all of our expenses, so that way me and the accountants can go back and forth and I can answer any questions. If they have it, they can comment like they did there, or I can comment to explain what that expense was, where it goes. So we make sure as we're incurring them, things are being properly placed, so that way we don't have any issues when we get to the month end, so we can get our reporting out to our investors or limited partners on time. And we do that for each one of our cash accounts, whether it's a capital reserve or distribution account. We make sure everything is reconciled, and we do it for each one of the parks, as I'm showing you here. Each one of our communities will get the same type of thing, and we're able to have that for our investors if they require it, request it. And that way we're able to do it. Now let's dive into Rent Manager just real quick. This is nothing special. I like it personally. And any major operator is going to have this or something very similar, but this is where we're able to provide all kinds of reports for our investors. Being able, if you see here, we break it out by the community, and here's all of our financial reports we could do, tenant occupancy. We can go through the list. A lot of them, honestly, kind of meaningless, but some of them are really important to be able to tell. And although our investors don't request a lot of this, sometimes they will. They'll want to see move-in, move-out schedules. They want to make sure, see what our market rent to current rent roll analysis is, to see if we're actually achieving that business plan we said. And of course, you know, between the P&L and the cash flows, those are really the main things. Now, once we have all that together, we get to our actual quarterly reporting package that we send out. This is the quarterly letter, typically 2 to 3 pages. This one's 2. I think this one here, yeah, this one's 2 as well. Sometimes if we have a lot of activity, I might write 3 pages, but it's just my thoughts, insights, explaining what has happened, whether we made any money that month, how much money we made, how much income or expenses we incurred, kind of go over some major stuff that happened over the quarter. And then as we get into page 2, future planning, what are we looking for the next quarter? Any insights or plans, what my thoughts are on our performance and how we can repeat that going forward or not repeat it. Here's our distribution letter. So you can see I got things redacted, but this is an actual distribution letter for one of our new parks that we got. So you could see we had some distributions earlier this year. and then again the next quarter, so they get a year-to-date analysis of what their distributions are, and they get that sent out each quarter. Here's our quarterly summary. Just an example, I think this is last quarter's, but we break it down. This is usually 5 pages or so. Work just breaks down the units, the expenses and incomes. And then here we actually dive into our work orders, because this one is a park-owned home property. So we want to show how much work we're doing, and then we break those work orders down into what categories they are, so they know what kind of work we are doing in the community. And then we'll give a snapshot of all major stuff. So here's a more detailed one. HVAC installations, plumbing upgrades, these types of things, septic pumps, roof improvements. We'll break that down for them and then be able to show them the type of work we're doing, and some major capital improvements here as well. And that's kind of the details that we're able to provide in our quarterly reporting package, because once we have that and the distribution letter and the investor quarterly letter, what we do is we combine it into this package right here. Basically, it's just a fancy combination of all of those documents included. And as you can see, I don't think I mentioned, but inside that quarterly report is the financial information as well. So it provides not just the letter, not just the distribution, but the financial and operational numbers and performance. So that way, each quarter, all of our limited partners or investors are able to see what we've done, how we performed, and where we're going to go. Didn't always look this way, as you could tell from my article that I wrote about it. It wasn't always like that. We got